right, welcome back again, everybody. Today we're going to go over the top 35 sales the first 4 months of 2024. Some really good profit items. Most of them are fairly high end. Some of them aren't quite as high end, but really good profit based on what I paid for them. Some things to be on the lookout for. Also, be sure to stay tuned to the end there, find out how to enter the 500 subscriber giveaway, and let's get to it.
Let's go ahead and start it off with a really big surprise. This one here is the Floby. I don't know how many people know what a Floby is or don't. If you don't, you're probably pretty young. But anyhow, it's basically a vacuum cleaner haircut. Picked this thing up just randomly for $10.29 or so, something like that at Goodwill, and thought I'd give it a chance and looked at some comps. It didn't have all its pieces. So I put it up before I went to bed. Went ahead and listed it at $100 or best offer. And before I could even fall asleep, it actually sold for full rate. They didn't even try to make an offer. Turned that right into $100. I did not see that one coming. But now I look for Flobies. Another pretty big surprise here. Skill Power Ratchet cordless. That's kind of a blast from the past. Picked that up for $4.29 at Goodwill and sold it within just a couple of days for $40. So that's a pretty good profit on something like that. Pretty low investment, good return. So this is a cookbook that I picked up in a cookbook lot. Those same cookbooks have been in several of my videos. It was a pretty good lot for like $7. This Lithuanian one though, I put that up and it sold within 2 hours for $20. So I'm really into the cookbook scene now. Keep looking out for those. A lot of them you can look up, some of them you can't, but I think people are really into cookbooks rather than the internet. I think people like to have the hardcovers these days. All right, this is one of my favorites here. This is my first big sale of the year. Panasonic DVD VHS DVD recorder. Picked this thing up for $10.29 and put it on auction, and went all the way up to $181. That's a really good score, and that really got me turned on to those combo players. I know you guys hear me say that a lot, but they are gold. Here we've got another one of my favorites. I like to pick up these kind of things. This is a blood glucose meter. Picked this up for $4.29 at Goodwill and flipped it in just a couple of days for $50 to somebody in Puerto Rico. That's interesting. I saw a lot of stuff to Puerto Rico, and it tends to be the medical stuff. Makes me wonder if it's hard to get that kind of thing down there. I don't know. Another piece of bread and butter here, Magnavox DVD VCR combo. Sold no remote, no manual, just a couple RCA cords for $90. Picked it up for $10. Always a good flip. I'm not sure why this one went for $90 and a lot of the others go between $40 and $60, but still trying to figure all that out, which ones are the most valuable, but either way, I'll take it. This was a really good pickup here. Got this in a lot with some other things. I'd never heard of Tivoli before, but turns out it's a high-end brand. Interesting story with this one. I sold it to a guy in Texas, and he had it a few days, and he said that there was some buzzing noise in it, which there was not. I tested all this stuff. This stuff was brand new. So he sent it back, and it took him a few days to do it. So I think he was trying to fish for a discount or partial refund. Don't let these people scam you, and don't refund them until you get it back in the same condition you sent it. But that one item right there paid for the whole lot, and I still had two others that are really high profit. Good pickup here. Sharp view cam 8mm. Picked this up in a lot with another one. I think I paid $25 for the whole lot. Flipped this one really quick on eBay for $69.99. Came with some tapes, extra batteries. Pretty good deal, actually. People are still really into these. So we've got the MASH Martinis and Medicine collection. That's a 36 disc set. That's all of the MASH episodes there are, all in this collector's box. Picked that up for $7.99 at a thrift store and sold it in about 2 days for $50. Interestingly enough, about a week later, I found the same thing at another thrift store Paid up for that one. Paid 20 for that, but actually pulled 65 out of that one. So definitely on the lookout for those MASH DVDs. Another piece of Tivoli here. This one here is a Tivoli subwoofer. Again, this stuff was like new. Um, Part of an $89 lot. Got 75 out of this. So I'm just hoping to find some more stuff like that because those are really easy sales and super high profits. And last but not least, from my Tivoli collection out of that lot, the Tivoli Model CD. Um, Clearly the star of the show, $274.99. That was a phenomenal flip. Great profit on that. That was at the time my highest sale for the season. Big profit item here, this Thermarest Luxury Series. Picked that up at a thrift store for $3 and turned around and sold it for 60. It took about a week and a half, 2 weeks to sell that, so just another phenomenal flip there. If you can turn $3 into 60, you're winning every time. This here is really one of my favorite finds of the year so far. This Canon PowerShot point and shoot camera. Picked it up for $5 at a Goodwill. Didn't have a battery, any of that stuff, so ordered a battery for like $12 from K-Star on eBay. You should check into those guys if you need camera batteries cheap. Looked up the comps in the store and was like, for $5, I'm definitely going to gamble on this. And turned around and flipped it for $100 in just a matter of a couple hours. Another really great find here. These jacuzzi filters. Picked them up for like $5 or $6. Sold them in like 2 days for $75. They're new, sealed in the wrapper. This was in a local auction. I guess nobody really knew what they were or didn't have a use for them. Here we have a dough mixer for a Hobart mixer. It's a big industrial type thing. Picked this thing up for $6. And no, nobody knew what that was. Ended up being an international sale. I believe that went to France, if I'm not mistaken. If anybody's not familiar with the eBay International Shipping Program, EIS, that's definitely the way to go. Be sure you've got that turned on your eBay. Those are really no hassle. You ship that to somewhere. Mine usually go to Illinois, and then eBay handles the rest. You don't pay a crazy amount of shipping, and eBay handles any troubles that might arise. Okay, so this is hands down my funniest, most favorite find, period, so far in eBay history for me. Ghettopoly. Picked that up at a Goodwill for $4.29. It's basically a take on Monopoly, except instead of hotels and things, you have crack houses, liquor stores, things like that. I think you get the idea. Um, Picked it up for $4.29, sold it for 60. Actually sold it for 41 at auction, and the person never paid. So I just put it up there to buy it now at 60, and it sold overnight. Also, when I originally listed it, I'd put Ghettopoly in the title. And apparently that's a no-no. I got a red flag and a strike on that one. Apparently you can't use the word ghetto. So I went with urban monopoly, and somehow that was okay. But good pickup. I doubt you'll find one, but if you do, snatch it up. So this thing here, I didn't even know anything like this existed, but it does. It's an Ion CD USB turntable with CD recorder. Basically, you can record CDs off of records. I was pretty intrigued by that. Looked into it. It's worth a lot of money, so I picked it up for $25 and sold it for really great profits. So if you see those things, definitely try to pick them up. So this was a really good score, especially just right before spring. Perfect timing. These sprinkler control systems, timers, and they work off Bluetooth from your phone or Wi-Fi. And I picked them up for $5 each. There's only five of them, or I bought them all, but there was only five, so I picked all of them up. They're brand new. Um, can't beat that. 275 sold within 2 days. So this was an interesting one here. Dolce Gabbana hard sunglasses case. Picked that up at Goodwill for $2.29, and made an easy 20 bucks on it. I always look at the little sunglass cases. Those hard-sided Oakley cases do pretty good too, so quick money there. Nice score here. This is a time clock basically. Mounts on the wall and you punch in and punch out with it. I picked it up at a thrift shop for 20 bucks, sold it within a week for 100. I'd never really seen any of those before. It's not something you see often, but I keep an eye out for them now. I would definitely buy and sell that again. Pretty good score here on this Nintendo Wii Rock Band drum set. Picked it up for 10 bucks, sold it in just like 2 or 3 days for $100. Looked like it was going to be kind of hard to ship. I wasn't quite sure what I was getting into, but it actually breaks down into some pretty small parts, and I got pretty lucky on that one as it was pretty easy to ship. I would definitely flip that again. I like to pick up these baseball gloves when they're cheap. I picked this one up for 3 bucks, sold it for 25. Those are good items to look out for coming into spring and during the summer. Really good thrift store find here. Some Epson ink cartridges. Brand new. Picked them up 5 bucks, sold them in like 2 days for $45. So good pickup. I always check out the ink if it looks halfway decent. It's always worth at least looking up. So I don't know why I ended up posting the picture of the back side of this thing instead of the front side, so I apologize about that. But this Sangean weather radio, it's AM/FM weather radio. Pretty handy little thing, really. You can leave it on alert, and if a weather alert comes, it'll just come right through, even if you're not listening to the radio. So pretty cool there. Picked that up for $4.29 at Goodwill, and I just printed out the manual online. Tested it. Good flip. So these next two items here, I got them both at Goodwill, but I got them on 2 separate trips. It was kind of interesting. But Norwex water filters. It's kind of like Brita, except a different brand. These are all really good to sell, actually. Picked these up for $4.29. Turned them into $29.95. Next day, found these. Same cheap price, and turned them into $39.99. So be on the lookout for those. I'd never heard of them, but I decided I'd look it up and see what it was about. Turns out it was worth picking up. I do really good on all sorts of filters. Water filters, refrigerator filters, air filters, all those different kind of things. TI-84 Plus, that's always a good pickup. Picked this one up at Goodwill for 5 bucks. Sold it in like a day for $49.99. So anytime you see these TI-84s, any of those bigger graphing calculators always do really well as long as the price is right. You can't be paying $20 and $30 for them and expect to make a profit, but if you can get them for 5, 6 bucks, good flip. Another good pickup here. I was definitely gambling on this. Picked up this lot of fly fishing magazines at a local auction for 7 bucks. And I broke them all up into the years that they were from and tried to sell them that way in several different lots. And a guy contacted me and wanted to buy them all, so I sold them all to him for 100 bucks plus shipping. That was a good one right there. I was really excited about that. These vintage tape decks tend to do pretty good. This Sanyo here I picked up for $5 at the Restore. Only took about 3 days to sell that. $49.95 is definitely a good flip on something like that. Vintage electronics are doing really well, that's for sure. These handheld voice recorders are still pretty popular. Doctors and psychiatrists, I guess, that's the classic people you think of using those, or lawyers. Either way, whoever's using them, they sell really well. Picked this one up for like $4, sold it for $25. Hard to go wrong there. Picked up this bracelet and a bunch of other junk, we'll say. Thought it was probably costume, but I got to looking at it, and turns out that's real pearl and 14 karat gold. So just one little piece of a lot that was $7 and made $50 out of it. So make sure you look through all your stuff carefully. And we're back to the vintage cookbook lot. Pulled $25 out of this white ribbon cookbook. 1911, super old, but out of something that was $7 for like 100 books, 25 out of this one, that's a winner every time. Nice vintage Nikon camera here. There's always a big market for that. Especially this one had all the paperwork, receipts, extra lenses, all kinds of things. It's a 35 millimeter camera. Picked it up for $20, turned it into 75. So pretty good flip. I always try to check out all the vintage cameras that I see because there's definitely some hidden gems out there. So this is just one of those things that I thought looked interesting, so I looked it up, and turns out it was worth money. I think I paid $8 for it. It's called an Oso bot. Basically, you draw lines with those markers, and this little thing's programmed to follow it. I really don't get it, but if you're interested, Google it. It's kind of interesting. You can look it up on YouTube also, but good flip just for paying attention and looking up something that I'd never seen before. And last but not least, we have the Jeep Libra. Picked that up for $10.29 at a Goodwill. Sold it overnight for $99.99. Don't see too many of those, but this thing was brand new in the box. It had never even been out, so that was a pretty easy sell for top dollar.
All right, gang, that's my 35 top things that I've sold on eBay so far this year. Some good profits in there, some random things you wouldn't think that would be worth a lot of money that it turns out that are. So hopefully you guys learned something, see some things to be on the lookout for. Feel free to hit up the comments if you got any suggestions, maybe things that are similar to what I have that maybe I haven't been looking for. And let me know what other kind of videos you guys would like to see in the future. I'm open to suggestions. Um, don't forget about the 500 subscriber giveaway. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and you'll be entered into that. Once we hit 500 subscribers, I'll be doing a giveaway. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you again next time.